The AKG K7XX audiophile grade headphones are the first custom-made headphones by Massdrop. Based on the legendary K702, this updated and refined model features improved memory foam earpads, tweaked sound drivers, and an easily replaceable detachable cable. You can check out the link down below to enter a giveaway for a chance to win a blacked out pair just like the ones I've been using since before I even started this channel. If you'd rather not wait, Massdrop offers fast shipping, and at $199.99, these things offer great performance at a great price. Hey y'all, Moses here. In this video, I'm going to be covering 3 simple strategies to win more games in PUBG. Instead of trying to teach you how I play, I'm going to go over some of the strategies I see deployed the most and go over the pros and cons of each one. One of the great things about PUBG is that you can basically play however you want and have a chance to win. But the underlying mentality and the motivation around how you approach each round should be consistent if you want to improve and increase your chances of winning. I'll do my best to illustrate the different strategies, but just keep in mind one thing. The road to improvement is not typically found in your comfort zone. So if you're struggling to get better at any aspect of the game, you might want to try something different. So with that said, let's get started. The first strategy is commonly associated with a passive play style, and that is what I'll refer to as an edge style, or playing the outside of the circle. The primary benefit of this strategy is that you have 180 degrees of security behind you, effectively reducing the possible area where enemies could be by half. If you choose to use this strategy, it is very important to utilize a vehicle, as when the circle adjusts or begins to move, you're going to need to quickly reposition to find another favorable spot on the edge of the next circle. It's important to have good cover if you're going to play the edge of the circle, so houses and compounds are ideal. The key points to making this strategy successful are as follows. When you arrive at the spot you intend to occupy, clear out the area around you, so when it comes time to move, you won't be surprised by an enemy who happened to show up late to the circle or who has just been hanging out nearby. It's important to spend the first portion of each new zone at the edge of the circle looking back into the blue for latecomers. They will be an easy target if spotted, but could sneak up on you if you're not paying attention. Be wary of players who run the edge of the zone looking for players as they travel to the next play zone. Keep your eyes peeled and your ears open, because being surprised and getting into a prolonged fight might cause you to be late to move and you'll get stuck in the blue. During a movement phase, the edge style will make you react to the circle, and that could mean running 100 meters or running to the complete other side of the map. One of the easiest ways to get spotted and attacked is when you're moving. So while the edge of the circle provides great security and doesn't require you that you move too much, if you have a large distance to cover when you get a new circle, you'll have a much higher chance of being spotted. So let's take a look at what that kind of movement might look like. On this map, I've chosen a Gatka field ending, which is generally a tough ending for any round. As you can see, there are a few good spots on the edge of the circle I've mocked up. When the new circle comes in, denoted in blue, if you happen to be on the far end of the trench in that house, and you get a circle that hugs the edge, you're in a great position and have no reason to move early, and you have a short travel distance to the new zone. However, if you've taken up an equally good spot on the adjacent side of the circle, you now have a long open field to run across, and your chances of survival will plummet. This is obviously to illustrate a point, and RNG will come into play, but this is not an unrealistic eventuality if you constantly play the edge. The next strategy is arguably the most consistent, and even in competitive level play, many top-ranked teams are beginning to adopt it because it minimizes movement phase issues that are present with the edge strategy. I don't have a fancy name for it, but the essence of this playstyle is identifying the best house or compound near the middle of the zone and moving immediately to take it when the circle changes. This will allow you to play the best odds that your location will still be in the upcoming play zone when the circle changes again, reducing your overall movement depending on how the circles shake out. The key to executing this strategy is taking stock of potential spots in the next zone, and then as soon as the circle changes, you'll have to move immediately. Rinse and repeat until the end game. As with the previous strategy, having a vehicle is vital. Houses provide the best cover, and if you arrive early enough, you may get some free kills on players who arrive late and attempt to crash the compound themselves. It's much easier to react to incoming players because they'll have little information about your exact location, and if they arrive in a vehicle, they may not even have a chance to defend themselves. This is huge, as players who get caught off guard are essentially delivering loot to your literal doorstep. You can play extremely aggressively from an advantageous position, especially at choke points. If you take damage, you can reposition within the house and heal in relative safety. When taking a new compound, it's important to have a loadout that can perform in close quarters and at long range. I wouldn't recommend crashing and defending houses with an SMG, as damage output needs to be quite high to secure kills quickly. I'd recommend using a double barrel and an AR to start with, and then switching to a sniper rifle when given the opportunity, and of course based on your preference. This strategy is probably the most viable overall, but it does have its downsides. The main action of this strategy is also arguably its weakest point. Crashing occupied houses is dangerous and requires a great deal of comfort with close-range fights. Familiarize yourself with flashbangs and keep grenades handy to clear out a well-defended spot. You may also spend an above-average amount of time inside a vehicle, arguably the most vulnerable spot you can be in while moving through the map. Take note of the best route and get used to using efficient movement. I'll follow up with another guide on this topic, but for now, check the link in the description for a great video by Choco Taco that covers this topic specifically. The last strategy is great for those who are looking to get better at the game or are hungry to take as many fights as possible, and that's the reaving strategy. There isn't too much to say about this one, as I think the title kind of gives it away. Essentially, this is the strategy of going mobile and seeking out poorly positioned enemies and frequently going to crate drops. This strategy, like the others, requires a vehicle and the ability to take out enemies as quickly as possible, so a sniper or AR combination would probably work best. The underlying idea here is that taking out people in the game will increase the overall chances of winning. So if you can take more fights and win, your ability to progress through the game should technically be easier. Now, this might seem like a little flimsy from a winning strategy standpoint, but hear me out as I cover the benefits. The primary benefit of this strategy is getting familiar with gunfighting in a multitude of situations. This will force you to be flexible and will increase your experience rapidly. If you adopt this strategy every 3 to 4 games while you play in conjunction with one of the other previous strategies, your overall skill will increase to the point where executing those other strategies will become much easier. PUBG, especially for me, is fun because of the gunplay and the strategy of gunfighting. This is especially so for solo. But this tactic in squads and duos can be extremely rewarding if you don't mind some rounds going poorly. And lastly, crate loot exponentially increases your ability to deal devastating damage both at range and up close. The Groza and the AWM are probably the best weapons in the game in their respective category in all game modes. Plus, you might get to dress up like a bush, which is a benefit all on its own. And of course, this strategy has a pretty drastic downside, and that is you're probably going to die a lot, especially in the beginning. I think there's more to be said about this strategy, and I completely understand if it's not your preference, and it isn't for most players. However, you can watch any top player and recognize one thing. They are all comfortable getting into gunfights, and when presented an opportunity, they will always try to seize a kill. This strategy can reward spectacularly with high kill wins, but should also be used in moderation to prevent frustration on days when things just aren't going your way. Alright, so that's kind of the end of the video, and I just wanted to say thank you for watching. Of course, you can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/wtfmoses if you want to come in and chat strategy. I normally cover that kind of stuff when I'm streaming, so if you want to come in and ask some questions like what my favorite AR is over and over and over again, I would absolutely love to have you. You can also leave a like down below if you like the video, and leave a comment if you have any feedback, as I do read all of them, even though it's probably taking years off my life at this point. But regardless, thank you for watching. Oh yeah, follow me on Twitter too, at wtfmoses. So that's it for this one. Hopefully there's another video coming by the end of this week, another PUBG breakdown if I've got the time. But yeah, that's it. Thanks guys, and I'll see you out there.